Hi there, everyone. This is Sharon for another conscious sharing moment. And so, remember to like and share. Remember whatever it is that you're thinking to put it into the comments, and also to let me know other topics you would want me to talk about. And remember, with these conscious sharing moments, they are like life hacks, aha moments, revelations, observations, and even conversations that I've had with others that I know that you can benefit too, because I know I'm not the only one. And also, with these things, it's like for you to go deeper within yourself. There, that part of self care, especially the first one, is the self awareness, self reflection, introspection, self evaluation, self inquiry, to pretty much contemplate different aspects of yourself. And so, with the topic today is managing your emotions. Managing your emotions after viewing or hearing about traumatic headlines. And so, recently there have been, another police killing. And in the Black community, any killing, is always hard, but especially when it's done by the police. And I can remember when I was younger, with Rodney King, even though that wasn't a killing, um, but it was definitely traumatic. Just in general, anything that you see or hear and there's an emotional response, it creates an emotional imprint. And so those type of things is vicarious trauma, things that you may experience or see, especially when it comes to the headlines. I remember, Micah Brown and all of the others. First I want to just pause for a moment to be able to just acknowledge them. And so when it comes to you, know that when you're hearing about it, when you see a headline, when you're hearing about it, when others people are talking about it, if you watch videos, is that it's going to have an impact on you on an emotional way. And anytime anything is emotionally impact us, it's impacting, your nervous system. And one of the reasons I want to talk about that is a lot of times um, you may not realize what it does to you, and I want to make sure that you're okay, like whoever you are. This is for everyone, but especially for Blacks, because when these type of things happen, um, I was just going to say, it really impacts us on a different level. And so when it comes to vicarious trauma, again, it could be anything that you see or hear. It can even be in a story that someone is telling you their story. Two things regarding myself. I can remember when I was younger and we were told to watch Roots in elementary school. Now I can say that that was traumatic for me, that disrupted my nervous system, because ever since then I may have seen Roots again, like say as an adult, but ever since then it paved the way of how I watch um, movies similar to that. And pretty much what happened is anything that was similar to that, I didn't watch. I didn't know what it was back then, but it's vicarious. And of course, back then, they didn't know, you know, you just can't have kids watching that kind of stuff and not have anything, of how to process it. I think I remember at school, you give a report. It doesn't impact, especially for a Black person. But anyway, That's one experience. And then by me working in the mental health field, just by hearing other people experiences, I've come to realize that has really impacted me. Not in a way, a lot of times people may think, oh, well, you need to go to therapy. No, one thing we know about trauma has a direct impact on your body. And I didn't know this early in my career that that's what was going on. And we didn't have all of that information there, even though some information was out there, but not as much. But I just wanted to give you those two experiences. And of course, in hearing, the traumatic shootings and things that's been in the headline, and has happened to these wonderful individuals, especially George Floyd, um, in that it impacts all of us. But like I said, but especially when it comes to blacks, and then especially when it comes to black men, it just impacts. So when it comes to managing emotion, your emotions, one, acknowledge that there's something going on, in that, you're angry, you're sad, you're whatever that is. Definitely acknowledge that. And one thing I would say is be mindful of what you do watch. Like for me, I choose not to watch. I may get the updates in the headlines, but I would not, like watch that video. I know my nervous system. And for those of you who do decide to watch, uh, be intentional with your self care acts. And so, in saying that, just like we had just paused, do that afterwards because it helps settle the nervous system. I'm not saying like to take away your advocacy and not to be enraged and things like that. But the thing is that if you're in a certain state majority of the time, and then it's wear and tear on your body and it impacts your immune system, and we need you here. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this particular conscious sharing moment. The other thing is, again, watch, be mindful and intentional on what you watch. Even in the timing, I would say not to indulge reading the headlines, watching the headlines, hear about headlines, um, and I'm saying headlines, but any discussions regarding, these experiences, these traumatic experiences, um, before bedtime. So be mindful of when you watch. If you do decide, be mindful of when, because there's something about having that on your mind, even in talking about it. So be mindful of when you talk about it, when you watch it, and things like that. And again, if you do decide, to make sure you pause and take that deep breath. In doing so, also you may need to engage in some type of physical activity, and especially depends on the emotional impact that it has. And like if you feel, rage or enraged, by all means, go for a walk, do some jumping jacks, because that really helps. And it's all of this is not taken away, it's to help you, because we need you here, especially black men. We need you here, we need everyone here, but especially you. And so all of this is really just to help offset the impact of these images, the impact of these experiences, because they impact us, even though I'm not watching it. But this is my, like, I'm, enraged. And so this is how I am advocating for it, is by, giving, everyone some information. The other part of it, in which the pausing helps, but to intentionally ground yourself. It's like you can feel yourself in that boiling point, and especially if you want to talk about it, even before you talk about it, go ahead and sit in silence, ground yourself, put your feet on the ground, with your head, towards Mother Earth, your hands on your lap, or your thighs, or wherever is comfortable. And you can focus on something if you like. You can focus on a mantra, you can focus on an affirmation. And I would say get a quote, get one of Martin Luther King's quote or Malcolm X's quote or whoever it is, something that very affirming, not just in the fight for it, but also to make sure that you are um, okay with yourself. Because if our body isn't in a raised state, we really won't be able to advocate the way we really need to advocate and to have that clarity. So that's the other thing that comes along with that. And so when it comes to centering yourself, do that as often as you need to. You may need to do it each time the thought comes across your mind. Like every time you think about it, you just feel enraged. Go ahead and take those deep breaths, and pause and center yourself and ground yourself. Because again, we need you here. We need everyone here, but especially for Black men. And um, pretty much, if you do decide to engage in any conversations, be mindful of that. Be mindful of the other people that you're having a conversation with. I would say to start off the conversation with, maybe some ground rules, but definitely with a pause and end with the pause. And you may need to do a pause in the middle because we need you here. We need everyone here. And I'm not saying, like the discussion has to be in a common way. I'm saying your body, your mind, your spirit to be in a calm state to have the conversations that needs to be had. The other thing is, if you need to journal about it, that's another way. If you need to paint, like whatever your outlet is, I'm not going to say whatever, but um, an outlet that keeps you grounded, an outlet that allows you to release it in a good, positive way. And so, again, these are just, some ways that you can manage emotions after you view or hear about traumatic events in the headline. And so make sure you're taking care of yourself. Continue to, advocate for those that you can advocate for, but make sure you advocate for yourself by having self-care acts as a self-care giver, because we definitely, definitely need you here. So thank you for watching this conscious sharing moment. And just remember to stay updated on what's going on with my brand. You can visit my website, the parent company, www.herfromholisticnetwork.net for updates, for events. And also, if you want me to have a consultation for organizations and even for professional individuals, for business owners and leaders, by all means, get in contact with me, because we want everyone well. And so I can definitely help in integrating these self-care acts into the workplace and into your personal lives as well. So again, thank you for watching this conscious sharing moment, and keep in touch.